Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at NuScale power. It is time for another update, and today we will be discussing about the potential of having a bottom already formed within this structure to the downside, as well as the relevant resistance levels that must be broken for a more clear signal that this may indeed be the case. Now, before we get there, I would like to go quickly through the larger time frame for any of you who might be new. And by the way, for those of you who may be new, this was a stock analysis request from a couple of followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. Now, in the case of this chart, we are basically tracking a double 1-2-1-2 setup, and yeah, this is from an Elliott wave perspective. This could be the pattern that will end up playing out on this chart. Other interpretations are possible, even some that are less bullish, but for now this is probably my preferred scenario that I am tracking. Now, the area of focus is specifically this 1-2 setup, which provides us the area of support between the $29.4 all the way down to the $15.6 level, within which we expect to find a bottom within this wave 2 correction in white and start the reversal to the upside in wave 3, in which we actually have quite extended targets. Yeah, we expect this to be quite an impulsive and strong third wave to the upside if it really is to actually play out. Now, within this wave 2 correction, we are tracking a couple of scenarios where I could argue that this may be a simple ABC structure within which we are looking to still form the wave C to the downside, and in a wave C we need to form a 5-wave structure down, and at this point, yeah, we don't even necessarily have the third wave complete in that case. Then we do also have the ability to track something like a WXY, in which case we may find a bottom sooner rather than later, where I would basically only need to have an ABC structure complete, and yeah, in that case we may already start looking for additional, or yeah, for the third wave to the upside or a more significant retracement in this area. Yeah. And yeah, within this ABC pattern I might actually already have a full count. And not only this, I even have another interpretation within which I could expect a possible bottom within this area shortly, and that would be where I would consider this the actual wave 1 top. Now, this isn't necessarily preferred. We would be tracking something like a 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the 5th, and that would be fine. We could track this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 5th wave to the upside. It is really not preferred necessarily, but that's not even the point. The point is that in this scenario, we would really only need an ABC structure to have a full correction. And the point is that there is actually even more than one way in which we could track a bottom within this area for this larger wave 2 correction. Now, internally within this structure to the downside, which has started from October 16th, 16th of October, we have been tracking a few different ideas, and I will do my best to actually explain it as well as possible. It is a little bit more complicated, but I will try to point out and make clear the most relevant areas. Now, mainly within blue we have here an ABC structure which we are tracking to the downside. In the wave A we have an ABC pattern down, we have an ABC pattern in a wave B, and we are tracking a 5-wave move down in a wave C. Now, this 5-wave move in the wave C to the downside, this wave C, could unfold still in a couple of different ways. In the previous video, we were still tracking the possibility of forming a direct impulse within this area. Now, since we have broken above the resistance levels for the blue interpretation, which was for the impulse, we don't necessarily track this idea at all within this movement down. And in that case, we can even remove it from the chart. But for the orange interpretation, we actually held well within the area of resistance, and we possibly even completed this 5th wave down. And in that case, we may be looking for a bottom. Maybe we get an additional low before we actually form the full bottom, but honestly, it could already be done, and we could already be on our way to new higher prices. But even within this orange scenario, we could actually still see quite further extensions, but for that to be the case, I would need within this structure down to actually form a 5-wave pattern, because I would need to see an extension within this wave tree in orange to still look for further additional lows, beyond maybe one more low, one small low in this area. And in that case, we would be tracking a larger ABC basically. Now, that would be something very similar with what we would be tracking in the white interpretation, in which we have a larger wave tree here. In the white interpretation, we are tracking a much larger wave C. You see the wave B here, and then this is the wave C unfolding, in which case we have a 1, 2, a third wave down, a fourth wave up, and then a fifth wave down. In the white scenario, we are also tracking an ABC structure, for this entire movement to the downside. In the orange scenario, we are tracking here a small 1, 2, and then we may get a larger ABC in the wave 3. At this point, this is not the case, because at this point, we may even still track the possibility of already forming the fifth wave within orange. Now, the thing is, that is exactly what we need to track to actually determine that this structure is done, because we don't want to see a 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the 5th in this area. We don't want to see a larger wave 4 and the 5th wave down. Now, in the orange scenario, I will make this the last point in the orange scenario. Here we have a 1, 2, 3, 4th, and the 5th, which we may still allow for an extension lower. This may be as part of the wave C, and sure, let's even add here a wave A, a wave B up, and then a wave C unfolding in this area. Now, this could work out within the orange scenario, but then I will add a yellow interpretation. The yellow interpretation could work within the orange count, but also within the white count. So it would warn us that we need to be extra careful for this structure to the downside not to evolve into something considerably deeper. Now, in that case, I would be watching out for a more significant, let me change the color. So we have here a wave 1 down, a wave 2 up. We would be tracking an ending diagonal just to have the deepest area of resistance that we must break. Then a third wave down, a fourth wave up, and then a fifth wave down. In that case, we would need to watch out and break above the 61.8% retracement. So we have resistance between the $23, the $23.2, all the way up to the $26.2. And if we actually manage to break above the $26.2 right now, I would be very much open, very much looking and considering this as a likely bottom, a likely completion of this pattern to the downside, and I would already be looking for a bottom in this wave 2 and for an initial 5-wave move to the upside on a larger scale. Now, of course, we must break that level before, and if we actually end up pushing to lower prices directly, well, I wouldn't necessarily consider that as part of the yellow interpretation necessarily, even if we push within the orange resistance area that would be still within. Now, in that case, I would be watching out here for this orange wave 4. I could allow it to go from the $22.6 all the way up to the $23.9, and if we actually break above that and then we still push lower, it would be quite clear that we are following through in the yellow implementation, the yellow interpretation. And if we actually follow through directly to the downside now, well, we would need to follow through with the yellow scenario and actually adjust the area of resistance that we are tracking, but it would basically remain the same, and I would still be looking for a larger wave 4. Now, I know this is a bit of a more complicated area. What is most important to note are the levels of resistance that we are watching, here in yellow, and then that we must break above the $26.2 in a pretty direct fashion for a clear indication that this larger trend, this larger movement to the downside is likely over. And if we do that, well, I would be not even looking too much at another low. I wouldn't even consider too much a larger third and a fourth to form here within the white scenario, where we would still be looking for a fifth. I would, as I was mentioning earlier, be looking for the 5-wave structure to the upside for a potential initial 1-2 setup within the larger wave 3 to the upside. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.